just hear Baltimore. This is making sense now.
It's showtime, folks.
Hey, everybody. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Into the Music. My name's John, his name's Andy, and together we are Jandy.
Yes, we are.
Well, the other would be what? Andon?
Or Andron, which sounds like some sort of planet in a sci-fi series.
Does not compute, Andron. The replicator's not working again. So, I hear via Marvin Gaye and the Grapevine that you have got a song for me to listen to.
Yes, I do.
When I say by the Grapevine, I think you emailed me and said, I've got a song for you, John. Please tell me.
That sounds more accurate than you holding your ear up to a cluster of grapes. Yeah, this is a band called Mount Joy. Have you ever heard of Mount Joy?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, it's a song by them. I imagine if you haven't heard them, you haven't heard the song. The song title, though, you will need to look it up, is called Sheep. And this is a tune that I really dig, and I was wondering how you would feel about it. So go off and give it a listen. Let me know if you too dig it.
I shall get my shovel and see if I can break the earth.
Yeah, sorry. Don't you guys call it a spade?
I call it what the hell I like.
Hey, fair enough.
No,
all right,
you're right.
Slide.
Spades for digging, shovels for moving. Sorry, my mistake. This is a pretty beginning. I really like listening to the music, but I like the dancing motes in the sunshine. Is it pollen or nuclear fallout? I don't know. But it's a pretty little start. Let's see what happens. I just hear Baltimore. This is making sense now. It's really chilled. It's kind of a throwbacky. Again, to me, the way this song is put together is quite old-fashioned. It's nice. I guess I better listen to the lyrics. I'll do my best.
Maybe I was born in the wrong skin, but those sheep are rolling in the mud again, and it haunts me. Tell me it haunts you too. You cut it up, it's still the red, white, and the blue. And you cut it up, it's still the red, white, and the blue. Wasted in the tangles of time, and my
said that before. Sheep are rolling in the again. Is it mud? I really like in the left ear there was like just a drumstick attacking away. That was quite cool, and the electric piano is just a lovely sound. Again, it gives it that sort of base of warmth to the song. Yeah, nice.
Tell me it holds you true. You cut it up, it's still the red, white, and the blues. And you cut it up, it's still the red, white, and the blue. And there's blood on the streets of Baltimore. Kids are getting ready for a long war. Maybe I was born in the wrong skin, but those sheep are rolling in the mud again. And whoa, it haunts me. Tell me it haunts you too. Oh, it haunts me 'cause their freedom was paid in blood. You cut it up, it's still the red, white, and the blues. And you cut it up, it's still the red, white, and the blues.
Cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Let's go back to Andy and dissect.
So, you've returned.
Yeah, and I was right. I did need the shovel to get that shit out. No, I'm joking.
I knew you would use those words to attack me when you came back. My beloved song. No. What do you think of it?
Yeah, a really pretty beginning, and yeah, really chilled, really nice laid back vibe. It's another one. We said this before many times that it's an old fashioned, almost throwbacky type style song.
Yeah.
And started listening to it, and it's that really nice sort of loose guitar in it, you know. And then, you know, I'm terrible with lyrics, but one key word, you know, stuck out like a sore thumb. Baltimore, like, yeah. This is why he likes this, and it was something like blood on the streets of
lyrics, I'm not
Baltimore.
exactly thrilled about it, but I mean, it is a
But it
shout
said
out to
something
my
like-
beloved city.
Yeah, it said blood on the streets of Baltimore, and I'm thinking, well, that's a Saturday night, yeah. So what?
It's Saturday, shit. That's a Tuesday here, my guy.
Tuesday lunchtime, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's really nice. And it's really chilled. It was a lovely, relaxing, you know, and like that lovely vibe about it. As I was going through, I was picking up certain lyrics. So it's that blood on the streets, and then there was something about the red, white, and blue, and then it's about am I born in the wrong skin? Which made me feel that there's maybe a social political element to this. Maybe even thought about racial tension or whatever. And then there's a really interesting thing he did, and some were more pronounced than others. But he said sheep rolling in the mud again. The way he pronounced, I think it's mud.
Yeah, it's mud.
Was just bizarre. I mean, time and time again, he just has this issue with saying the word mud.
Yeah, he takes it out. He's like, the sheep are rolling in the mud again. Yeah.
But I think the first one was really, I didn't even know what the hell it was. It no longer was recognizable as a word. It was more like a pronouncement from some lost tribe of Papua New Guinea. It was very odd. But yeah, that aside, you know, and it was interesting that there's this total difference between the lyrical content and the musical content.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could be just strolling down the park to go and buy some bagels or whatever and sit down on a rug somewhere musically. But there's this stuff going on. I think he said something about oh man, the lyrics. Something about war. He mentioned war. I can't remember the phrase now. So again, there's this tension there. There was another line where he was saying, "You cut it up, you cut it up," and that little bit musically was really familiar to me, but I could not put my finger on it. It just reminded me of some other refrain. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. There was a good use of a drumstick just tapping away on my left earphone all the way through, which was really nice. And
Yeah,
the
it had this
star
like
of the show for me,
metronomic effect.
yeah, and it was because the drums weren't particularly splashy or anything, so it just had this really nice, chilled, again, sort of contained feel to it. But the star of the show for me was the electric piano. I really, really like that, and I think I've said this before loads of times. I've always probably liked that sound, but that Get Back documentary with Billy Preston just made me like, wow, yeah, I really love this. And there's a certain sound to an electric piano, and it's odd because it's not like a traditional piano, it's not like keyboards, it's just this bit in between. It's slightly bouncy, but at the same time it's very warm as well, and inclusive. It just draws you in orally, to whatever's going on. It's a great instrument, and I think in this it just kind of gave an overall sort of covering that really held it all together. It's just beautiful and tonally, and sort of the theme of the song. I really liked it. I like this song a lot. It was very chilled.
Yeah,
It's it's a sort of song that I wouldn't necessarily reach for it all the time to listen to, but I definitely would enjoy it every time I heard it. If you get what I mean by it. It did also make me think of, there's a band that started off as an acid jazz band called Mother Earth. I don't know if you've heard of them.
I've heard that name before. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they had like a major sort of flip after a few years. They had one particular female vocalist who was just amazing, and she went off and did her own thing. And then one of the guys started singing, and then they morphed into this sort of 70s kind of feel band, and stuff that's quite similar to this, actually. I mean, really similar. I think you'd really like some of their stuff. And it's got the same sort of feel and a heavy use of like electric piano and organs on it as well. And it's all got that laid back sort of loosey goosey feel to it, which is but not sloppy, but just laid back. It's really nice.
For sure. I know the distinction you're talking about there.
Yeah. So overall, thumbs up. Enjoyed this a lot.
Awesome, glad. And I'll have to check out some of you're gonna have to steer me in the right direction on the Mother Earth stuff. But I'd be interested to hear some of their material that sounded a bit more like the Mountjoy stuff that you were talking about. They're a 5-piece. I don't know what you'd want to call them. They've been labeled alt rock, indie rock, folk rock, blues rock, and Americana is sort of their kind of sound. They're a 5-piece. They are based out of LA, but their roots are in Philly, which I think helps them. It'd be weird if there's someone in LA singing about Baltimore. Not that it's a large world; it's a small world. I mean, everyone knows about our reputation, but it's interesting that they're rooted in Philly, because Philly is only 50 minutes away, DC's 40 minutes away, and Baltimore's it's kind of like in the middle-ish, and we're all like, we're kind of like sister cities. We'll talk shit about you, but I'll only hear other people talk shit about them to an extent, because they're not Baltimore, but they're close enough to home that I sort of have an affinity for those two places in their own right. But it's interesting that obviously the reference to Baltimore is what caught my ear the first time I heard this. And the more I listened to it, the more I was like, the theme, the mood, the approach all reminds me of something that you and I have a deep shared love for, and that's The Wire. by Michael Simon, the HBO show that's
Yeah.
about Baltimore, and all of its political, education, law enforcement machinations, and street life. And it's, you and I have talked about it several times. One of the best shows ever written. This
Yeah.
song feels like it could be an excellent, like, I don't want to say end credit because it had the same song typically, and the intro was always the same song, just a different iteration of it. But this song would fit well into the motif of that show, I think, and what it's trying to espouse or put under a microscope. The lyrics, which are actually an excellent way to hold like a mirror up to the state of things in the United States, but also has hope behind it, which I think is really important because you don't want to just be scolded or talk about the bad stuff or as if it's all doom and gloom and dire, with no
Yeah.
resolution in sight. But verse one is the kids get high in the basement sometimes and tell themselves not to watch the screens. It's the blood that haunts me. I can't fall asleep because it's ruthless. And don't tell me you're ruthless too. And I love that. Like you were watching humanity be ruthless, but don't tell me that humanity is nothing but ruthless. We have more to us than that. And that kind of resonated with me, that line. And obviously, when there's blood on the streets of Baltimore, kids are getting ready for a long war. Maybe I was born in the wrong skin, but those sheep are rolling in the mud again. And I think this is, I mean, this is written just a couple of years after everything that kind of went down with Freddie Gray here in Baltimore and the
Yeah.
riots that happened thereafter. And I think the born in the wrong skin could be interpreted in a couple different ways, but I think like the wolf versus the sheep's clothing, like which skin were you born in, and the racial element of it all is definitely, which is interesting because this band is comprised of what I can tell at least presenting Caucasians. So this is interesting to hear them, but I you can't argue that it's coming from a place of empathy. And that kind of speaks to me as well. So the chorus is like, whoa, it haunts me now. Tell me, it haunts you too. You cut it up, but it's still the red, white, and blue. You cut it up, you cut it up, but it's still the red, white, and blue. Like this is us. This is who we are as a nation. Wasted in the tangles of time. And my baby, is she the only one left when it's dire? She said, change is gonna come, love, but it's on all us. Cause it's ruthless now. Don't tell me you're ruthless too. So, you know, you're not, the situation's ruthless, but it's going to take someone who's not ruthless to get to, you know, to get through it. And it's going to take all of us working together. When there's blood on the streets of Baltimore, kids are getting ready for a long war. Maybe I was born in the wrong skin, but those sheep are rolling in the mud again. And then the chorus repeats. And then the bridge is the same line about blood on the streets in Baltimore. And it repeats itself through that, you know, you cut it up, it's still the red, white, and blue. And the synopsis of the song is pretty much what we were saying. The song illustrates troubled times in a violent and bloody era in America where race and beliefs become calls for brutality. However, the song does instill that there is hope for change on the other side. So, yeah, I just think it's an appropriate song given where I'm from and what I see on the local news and what has been kind of our cross to bear as a city for the last 30 or so years. Um, it hit home for me when I heard it. And when I knew that you liked The Wire so that you would be able to understand why, it kind of hit home with me. So
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up. And the music is lovely. Like
Yeah.
there's this great jazz meets blues guitar where like the tonality of the guitar to me sounds jazzy, but the literally the music that it's playing sounds bluesy. And I love that and the piano, like you said, is great. And the guy singing is really perfect for this kind of music and this kind of song. So loved the tune, loved even more what it was about, and thought I'd give you I'd recommend it to you. So
I mean, going on from what you said, going through the lyrics and then sort of the you know, the sort of summation. It's an interesting title, Sheep. It's kind of loaded.
Yeah.
Both ways, really, because you can say that sheep represent
Herd
everyday
mentality.
people, but herd mentality and mindlessness as well. But you can have it that sheep are manipulated by people, or you can have it that they're the problem because as a herd they can cause more damage just
Mhm.
by blindly following. So it can be a blameless or a finger pointing sort of theme as well. It's quite interesting. And I'm still not 100% sure. Sheep rolling in the mud again, does that mean that they are mindlessly just doing stuff, or are they, I know they're sheep, but dirty in their hands, or are they sort of, is it almost like a stain on your character because you're just following the same old crap? It's a stain on their fleeces, the mud. It's just interesting. I don't know what the thing is, but
Yeah,
it makes you
yeah, and
think,
there's also this connotation of purity when you think of sheep, right? Because Jesus and the being part of the
fluffy
flock that
clouds.
follows it. Yes, all of those things, especially the puffy cloud part. I mean, oh my God, you just opened my third eye with that one, John. But yeah, that just all of that, the sheep being a symbol of purity, like a flock that follows for the sake of good,
The
rolling
lamb,
in the
yeah.
mud again, is sullying oneself and
Yeah.
ridding yourself of your purity or whatever. Yeah, it is a loaded kind of analogy or
Yeah, it's just
metaphor that
interesting,
they're
isn't it?
creating. Yeah, no,
And
it's very interesting.
I've got no idea which way he's sort of going with this, what he intended. But like we said many, many times before, once it's out there,
It's
whatever
ours.
whatever interpretation that you put on it, that's right.
Yeah,
Because it's yours. Yeah, as you said. Cool.
exactly. Cool. Well, I'm
Excellent.
really,
Do you want to take
yeah,
us out?
yep. I'm glad you like this. Appreciate you giving it a listen. Everybody out there in the audience, if you're familiar with Mount Joy or you have it's something you want to add to the mix, please. The comment field's there for a reason, and we love interacting with you guys. If you'd be so kind, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. That really helps us with the numbers, and we appreciate you so much for it. All that formality being out of the way, thanks for joining us regardless. John, thank you, and we'll see everybody on the next episode of Into the Music.